Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a review for you of this little guy right here. This is the ModernFuel pencil. But first off, in the name of full disclosure, I want to let you know this guy was sent to me by the maker. Actually, what happened with this case is that the maker sent me a couple of items for stealth review. Basically, it's a kind of consulting where makers of products just send me something and I give them my feedback right there. I give them suggestions, I give them thoughts, etc., for them to implement or not in the future. And I do this all the time. I never really talk about it on the channel because, well, it's stealthy, right? But at the same time, I do this regularly. And in this particular case, I handled this guy, and I said to the guy, can I do a full review of this? This is cool. I want to show my viewers this. And, of course, he said, yeah. But nonetheless, we do have to assume this is the very best quality controlled one of these ever, and I'm doing my best not to let that affect my review. But there you go, full disclosure. Next thing, size comparison. This is not a gigantic pencil. We can put it here next to the Pentel Graph Gear 1000 pencil, which is, for a lot of people, kind of a go-to mechanical pencil. Here it is against some pens. We have the Bic Click Stick pen here. We have a pen stolen from a Hampton Inn. Sorry about that, Hampton Inn. And then here we have a Pilot G2 pen right here. So what we see here is that they are, it's a reasonably sized kind of thing. A little bigger than your average pencil pen, but it still is definitely there. And then finally, this is made by a small company named ModernFuel. This stuff's coming out of Texas. It's hand machined there. And that's a beautiful thing. So anyways, let's go ahead and jump into the good, the great, the bad, and the ugly of this very interesting little pencil right here. So on the good side to start with, this guy is made in the US of the A. Now, of course, quality is about effort, not geography. And so, you know, there are gems being made all around the world. But I support local makers, and so it's nice to support somebody from, my home area, so to speak. The next thing, these are available in a bunch of different materials. What you're seeing here on the table is the one in steel, but you can also get one in titanium. Price for titanium is $150, and steel, copper, and bronze are all $99. So that's good, and the copper and bronze have the added advantage of being, slightly self-disinfecting after time. So that's a beautiful thing, especially right now. Next thing, you have a choice of pencil guts for this. What I mean by pencil guts, of course, are the internal areas that handle the mechanical pencil lead and such. You have a choice of either 0.5 millimeter, 0.7 millimeter, or 0.9 millimeter. The moment I had 0.9 in there, hence this big old chonky lead sticking out the back of there. But the fact is, not only can you buy the pencil in different guts, but you can actually swap the guts out. Well, you've got the pencil in your possession. And it's a pretty straightforward process. You start off, you take this Allen key here, and this is just a generic Allen key. You slide this down the way, and then you turn this to get this top collar off. And then the bottom part, although this looks like a single piece of metal. And in fact, for the first while I owned it, I thought it was a single piece of machined metal. In fact, there is a separate threaded cone right here. And then, so you just unscrew that, and then unscrew this top cone part. And then you swap in the new pencil guts. You swap in the one that you want. And so this is great for a couple of reasons. I mean, not only that is it great if you are a person who's not quite sure what kind of pencil guts you want, but it could also be very helpful if you are a person who regularly swaps between. You know, maybe for one kind of drawing that you do, you like a big, thick, chunky lead, but for another one, you like something fine. Or maybe you like the same diameter. Maybe you like 0.7 millimeters always, even though, I'm sorry, 0.5 wins. Even if you like 0.7 more than anything else, you might still be in a position where you find that you want to have HB lead in one and 2B in another one, or something like that. See, that way you have the choice, 2B or not 2B. That's the question. Anyways, I digress. But you can swap the guts out, and you can purchase guts after the fact. So that's good. Next thing, this guy has, at least in some of the sizes here, and I think I am out of lead there, so let me swap in, or let me put in a little bit of lead. Believe this to be 0.7, so I'll drop in some 0.7 lead here. I may be making the wrong call there, but come on now, get in there. This is the very entertaining part of the review, titled, there we go, getting the lead into the pencil. So anyways, you just drop the lead in there, and it, by the way, does have room to hold some extra lead in there if that's something that's bringing you joy. But anyways, I very much like the fact that this tip is retractable. You know, once you finish writing with it, this tip disappears back into it. This is actually a problem that some pencils have, that they leave behind this little sharp edge there, and that can be unpleasant in the pocket, and it can also leave the pencil vulnerable to breakage if you drop it or something like that. Although, again, if you drop it and break it, you can buy a new set of guts, so that's a beautiful thing. So I like that very much. On the eraser front, so this actually comes with an eraser in it at the very top here, and that fits fine, and it works fine. It's reasonable looking, etc. Everything's fine there. But you actually have another option. In keeping sort of with the options first idea of this whole thing, you have the option to, after the market, so to speak, or at the time of purchase, I suppose, to buy an end cap, basically. And this little cap uses the same hex key that it takes to pull that the cartridge out of there, but it just slots into there. And so now at this point, this is completely sealed. You can seal the lead into the pen, even if you don't want to have an eraser on the top. And this is actually a great thing for people who tend to, because it's kind of a truth about mechanical pencil people, and pencil people generally speaking, that the eraser on the back of the pencil isn't usually the one they're using. Right? You can get a better eraser just sort of off to the side. And so it's very nice to be able to just swap that out for a plug there. And actually, one of the cool idea and thing that the maker has here is the ability to swap in stylus ends, like a stylus for a smartphone or something like that, that you can put in the back there. And because it's one chunk of metal, it works just fine there. So you can get the eraser plug for $20 or the stylus plug. Either way, I think those are really nice ideas, and it's good that you've got those options in there. Then finally, on the good side, the mechanism on this guy is great. It works quite well, and he says already with a bunch of lead deployed, and I'll move this piece of paper over here into the frame. Let's see here, the remnants of an earlier test. Hey, everybody. The stock lead, a little bit waxy, but that's okay. And I can write in here in my conventional chicken scratch. It looks much worse with a pencil than with a fancy fountain pen up here. But nonetheless, we can see this works just fine. So I like the mechanism very much. I think it's a good mechanism. It seems to be reliable. And, you know, it has all the kinds of features I would ask for, especially that swappability thing is great. And so to me, what's good about this guy is that it's got a great mechanism. You've got the different options for the top up here. I like the retractable tip very much. You got the choice of guts, the choice of materials, and it's made in the States. The great side to me, the best thing about this guy, at least to my estimation, is not the fact that I just spilled pencil lead all over my desk. I'll deal with that in a little while here. The great thing about this guy is the design of this guy looking like it is pretty monoblock. Like I said, I thought that for a long time when I first, got started with this, that this was just a single piece of metal, right? Because that little bit of variation there at the end is very damn near undetectable. This feels in practice like a single chunk of metal. And the fact that this is on there, and there is no plastic, at least that I'm aware of, anywhere in this thing, leaves this feeling exceptionally solid and leaves it feeling exceptionally well designed. And watch this. I'm going to do a magic trick. I'm going to make this pencil look way better. Oh, wow. Amazing, right? Suddenly, this looks like a super classy writing instrument, right? And so this design on it here of being sort of, well, at the same time, very much a mechanical pencil, very recognizable, but also having this kind of higher class look to it, I'm a big fan of that. So the design on this guy is absolutely great. I'm a big fan of that. So to me, that's what's great. On the bad side, to start with, $99 for the steel base price is not the cheapest mechanical pencil ever. That's for damn sure. And in fact, you can get excellent mechanical pencils from brands like, well, you can get things like the Graph Gear, you can get things like Rotring, etc., for way cheaper than this. So this is definitely a luxury mechanical pencil. Those are not words that I ever thought I would be saying in my lifetime 10 years ago, but here I am saying them. So luxury mechanical pencil is a thing, but I don't think they're ripping my face off either, and I think it can run with the big boys, so to speak. I'm holding it up here next to a tactile turn pen, and, in terms of overall quality and fit and finish and whatnot, provided that the clip's not on there, this looks like it can run with the same crowd, absolutely. So I very much appreciate that. Next thing, this does require a slightly specialized tool to remove the guts on it. It's not exactly let's be real here, it's not like a super fancy tool. It's just a freaking Allen key. But if you're trying to swap the guts and you don't have the tool handy, you're not going to be able to swap the guts. So that's definitely something to consider. Although, remember that on most pens, that's not even an issue. So not even a possibility, that is. And so that is something to keep in mind. And then finally, on the bad side, I do wish that there was a slightly tighter fit at the base of this guy. What I mean by that is when you put this guy, and this is the case with all of the sizes, unfortunately. When you put this in here, what we see here is there is not only a little bit of a gap around the outside of there, but there's also, it's a little bit recessed. I kind of want that to be perfectly flush and smooth. This is completely aesthetic. This is completely insane, but it is one of those things that if you're going to be selling me luxury mechanical pencil, I'd like to see perfect. I'd like to see that exactly flush where it needs to be. So, to me at least, that's what's bad here, is that I'd love to see a tighter fit down here at the tip. You will need this Allen key in order to remove the guts in the future. And also, by the way, to remove the plug if you decide to put the plug in the top rather than the eraser. And then it's a $99 pencil, which is, that's a thing. On the ugly front, the only ugly issue here with this is optional, but that is the clip. I said this to the maker directly to his face, and I have no problems. This clip is bad. It's not that it's completely ineffective or anything like that. I mean, it will hold this pen in your pocket. The problem, though, is that the clip that is both relatively soft, such that it's already starting to come loose on the pencil here, but it's also hard enough that it scratched the finish of this guy trying to put it on initially. And frankly, it's just the case that it makes this pen look cheaper. Right? I mean, I take this guy off and the price goes up. It's hilarious, but yeah. So the clip on this guy is just not the clip that this guy should have. I don't know exactly how you're going to make a clip for this design, and I don't necessarily envy the maker in trying to figure that out, but what I do know is that this current clip is just not a great solution, certainly aesthetically, but also functionally as well. So this is, practically speaking, a pen that you're going to want to, or a pencil that is, you're going to want to carry without a clip. The problem with that is this guy will keep rolling. If you are not on the levelest of surfaces, this guy will keep rolling, and that's not something that's amazing. There is no kind of an indexing surface or anything like that on this, and so, yeah, if you're planning to work on like a sloped desk as an architect or something, yeah, this is going to be going someplace. So, to me at least, that's what's ugly here, is that the clip on this guy is just not a very good choice here, and without that clip, this is going to be rolling like crazy. Final conclusion, this is a great little pencil. At some level, the world of high-end mechanical pencils is suitably small. But there are people who are out there, and those people very often have already found the choice that they love. Very often, the roach rings are a great thing, or the graph gear, or something like that. There are lots of great options out there for mechanical pencils, and many of them are cheaper than this guy. But I do think this provides something unique, and that's the reason that I wanted to take a look at it and to kind of show it off to you all, because I do think genuinely this is going to be of interest to some folks, because not only are you getting a choice of materials, which is not an option with some of the other choices, and you're getting a choice of lead sizes, but you're also getting a choice of end. You're getting the ability to cap it with a piece of metal or to do it with an eraser there, but you're also getting a very nice mechanism. You're getting a very simple design, as well as the ability to swap in and out those different pencil guts, which is actually a great thing, I think. It allows you, especially if you want to go all out, if you want to do like the titanium one, or if down the road he decides to do like zirconium or Timascus or something like that, fancy versions, it allows you to say, you know what, for this particular drawing, for this particular project, I want to go with a 0.05. Or I'm sorry, a 0.5. Not 0.05, that'd be a problem. But anyways, it allows you to say, you know what, I love this pencil, but for the moment I need it to be a 0.9, or something like that. Or it frankly even allows you to say something like, well, I want to have several different 0.5 leads, but I want to be able to swap between HB lead and otherwise without having to, push lead out and such like that, because that can often lead to broken lead, etc. So I like very much the idea that you can swap that out as you will. So if you want some variation in your penciling, that's going to be a great thing. It is definitely pricey. That's 100%. You can get a cheaper mechanical pencil than this that will work functionally pretty much just as well. You're going to need that tool to swap out the guts, and I would like to see a tighter fit there at the tip, with the clip, of course, here being sort of not an issue. And honestly, that is my biggest beef with this pen, is that clip. This is one good clip away from being a gem. If this had an excellent clip, well, frankly, if this just had a clip that felt like it was on standard, that felt like it was decent enough, and it doesn't have to be something crazy fancy, it doesn't have to be something amazing, but just something that feels like it belongs to this particular pencil, rather than something that feels like, this was in the parts bin behind the Fisher Space Pen Factory, and I grabbed a few thousand of them, or something like that. I'm not implying, of course, that the maker of this is a thief. I'm just saying that it feels a lot like that. But anyways, I digress. This is just, this is bad. But if the maker can find a way to design a clip that suits this pencil well, this will become a great choice for everyday carry. But until then, I still think this is a great piece. I still think it's a great piece of industrial design. It's a great approach to pencilation largely. I think it works very, very well. The weight of it is nice. The balance is good. And I can picture a group of people who are passionate both about pencils and passionate about machining and design, for whom this will be an instant buy. I think this is going to be something very compelling, and for whom these Wow, I screwed that up. Let's try that again. Backing up, backing up. Okay, just like Men in Black, Flash, that last bit didn't happen at all. And whose fires this pencil will absolutely modern fuel. See, it was way better the second time. Anyways, there you go. Hope this has been interesting to you, and have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.